FM 90.
Brought to you by Housing Finance Bank, a financial institution regulated by Bank of Uganda. Housing Finance Bank, we make it easy.
Your views, our interviews on Spectrum, Radio 1 FM 90.
A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for making time to be with us on this edition of Spectrum, coming to you live on Radio 1 FM 90, which is broadcasting from the Central Building here in the heart of our city, Kampala, along Dastur Street. We are also broadcasting live on our website, which is www.radio1fm90.com. On that website, you look for the icon with the word Listen Live. Once you click on it, you'll be able to listen to this radio station from anywhere across the globe. We are also live on the different radio listening apps: TuneIn, Afromobile, UTV channel, Radio Garden, and Stream Afrique. Those can be obtained from the Google Store of your smartphone. You download any, look for Radio 1 FM 90, and as long as you have an internet connection, you'll be able to listen to us. Radio 1 is also live on DSTV, and our audio channel there is 897. Two ways to contribute to this discussion. One of the ways is to call in. Time allowing, I'll open the phone lines for you to do so. But if you want to be fast with it and part of the ongoing organic discussion here in the studio, you can use our WhatsApp line, which is 0703-090-090. Send us a message. It could be a question or comment, and the guests in studio will be responding to you. Today, we'll be asking a question: is the opposition right to boycott upcountry sittings that have been planned by Parliament? Now, we know the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, did announce on the 16th of May this year that Parliament would hold various sittings in regions. This is going to start with Gulu, where there's going to be a sitting for 3 days, starting with the 28th, 29th, and 30th of this month. Now, the sittings, according to Parliament, is part of the wider strategy to take Parliament to the people. And according to the deeper explanation, is that the different committees of Parliament will be spending time in the north, picking up issues that will in turn be debated and resolved upon in the House sittings in that particular area. Now, the opposition seems to be opposed to this idea. Their view is that it's going to be expensive for the Ugandan taxpayer to pay for those sittings, whose idea behind it would actually result into issues that could still be addressed here in Kampala. In other words, they're saying there's no need to go to those regional sittings. Issues that Parliament wants can still be collected by the different committees of Parliament from the different regions and discussed here in Kampala without spending extra amount of money. They say it's going to be costly to transport the staff of Parliament, all the MPs, and have them accommodated. Well, some people are saying it's actually good for these regions because there will be money trickling down. So we'll be reflecting deeper on this issue, but also looking at how Parliament has been performing and what actually needs to change for us to have a better house. So I have two guests on this show today. Let me introduce Mr. Robert Okot. He's an advocate of the High Court of Uganda, but he's also a political analyst. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Kenneth, and good evening to the listeners.
We'll shortly be joined by the Honorable Helen Nachimuli. She's the Kalangala District Woman MP. She's the Shadow Minister for Information and National Guidance. She's on her way to studio here. But we'll begin with Mr. Okot very quickly. As a citizen of Uganda, a voter, very quickly, what would be your assessment of how Parliament is doing its work so far? Even before we go on the side of these regional meetings that are being planned for.
I think, one, we could say that for the last about 1 year, Parliament business has been under strong scrutiny from the public. Yeah. So you have the public increasingly getting interested in the business of Parliament, how they conduct their business, and what exactly is coming out of Parliament. Yeah. But from what we now gather is that people are so much interested in the levels of corruption within state institutions, but also most importantly, Parliament.
Mm.
So when you see people getting to the idea of having regional sittings, you realize that even those that are both sides, those that are opposing these regional sittings and those that are in agreement with having such regional sittings, personally, I would think that most of them are really doing a PR job, because after being under serious scrutiny from the public for close to a year now, constantly, every other day you hear people complaining or raising issues about parliamentary business, But legally speaking, the Speaker can see that Parliament sits anywhere in the country.
The rules allow.
The rules allow. The Constitution itself allows. But we need to understand in what spirit. Are we just doing a PR job? Or are we being genuine about taking Parliament to the people? Because this is a Parliament elected by the people. But even before we go into that, maybe we might need to look at our history when it comes to our legislative arm of government. We had a time when the Legico was in charge. That Legico had mostly white people, or the colonial people from the colonial government. It is until after the Second World War that we have some black people or Africans getting involved in the Legico. And then after independence, we had now an era where now citizens were starting to elect their representatives in Parliament, until when that got disrupted by the 1966 crisis and then the rise of Amin to power. But the gist of this discussion is that Parliament is a very critical arm of government. And in it has the power to ensure that interests of the people, both political and economic, are addressed. So it is a very important arm of government. So in taking these sittings to the regions, are we trying to take Parliament to the people, or we are simply doing a PR job?
But when you say PR job, what do you mean PR job?
We need to look at the context in which these sittings are coming up. You have a Parliament that is increasingly under public scrutiny. So if you are the leader of or the person leading Parliament at the moment, and you want to probably save face somewhere, you could say, let me take this sitting to the regions, because that way you're going to appease a number of interests. You're going to appease regional leaders, you're going to appease business people, but even those citizens down there might have that sense of feeling that now we are closer to our leadership, But that is me assuming that these sittings are being taken there to bring Parliament closer to the people, The people could get the advantage of their leaders being able to lobby for regional interests, business interests of the region, But of course, this could be one of the shortcomings of the kind of democracy that we have here, because we have countries that have regional parliaments, and probably regional issues are handled in those regional parliaments. But because we have a centralized
Parliament.
So we are now having to incur the cost of having to take sittings to regions. It would be a good thing if the motive is genuine. Yeah, I would be interested in seeing what the order paper for the sitting in Gulu will look like. Yeah, is it addressing? Is there going to be, are the discussions going to be about the region? Yeah. Are we going to see substantive resolutions from that sitting impacting on the region? Yeah. So really, that is the perspective from which I will look at it for now.
All right. Well, we have a number of comments actually coming in from the MPs from that region who actually think that this is going to be a good thing. We see the MP Anthony Akol from Kilaka North actually being quoted yesterday. There was a meeting at Parliament where the MPs from the Greater North met the Speaker and the technical staff to discuss the level of preparedness for that upcoming sitting. And it seems to suggest that there's going to be a lot of attention on the issues in the North, and the relevant committees of Parliament, including Education, Health, Agriculture, Physical Infrastructure, have already gone on the ground to talk to the community, to collect the pertinent issues that will be discussed by Parliament during these sittings. Does that address your issue of motive?
Yeah, it partly does. But now we need to see if, when they sit, are there going to be substantive resolutions coming up?
Impact from what they're doing.
What impact is it going to have on the region? Yeah, are we just going to talk, and talk? Yeah, because if let's say people in Gulu told you they have an issue, yeah, and you're saying that Parliament has already gone in there to check, to understand the issues affecting those regions, yeah, the budget has just been passed, yeah. So are we going to see things getting done? Yeah.
Maybe let's discuss the impact of Parliament when they make decisions, even here in Kampala, because we have people's representatives who are always facilitated to go back to the constituencies to pick the issues and bring them to Kampala and raise them during the plenary sitting. During the matters of national importance, they also raise up and put issues across. Do you think Parliament has been effective enough? Has it been felt? Has it actually delivered wherever the resolutions are made? Does the executive implement the resolutions of Parliament?
I think Parliament has delivered where it is in agreement with the interests of the executive. Yeah. Because ideally we would be seeing a Parliament that is very strong, stronger than all the other arms of government. Yeah. But that is ideal. In a state like the one that we have, multi-party democracy, yeah, the executive normally takes the day. Its interests normally override
priority.
All the other interests. Yeah. So you find that even if Parliament wanted to do its work or perform its functions as provided for in the Constitution, you will find that the state's interests will take precedence because of the kind of democracy that we run.
All right. Let me take this opportunity to welcome second panelist, the Honorable Helen Nachimuli, now Kalangala District Woman MP, also the Shadow Minister of Information and National Guidance. Thank you very much for joining us, Honorable.
Yes, Anderson, thank you for the invite. I'm honored to be here. And my fellow panelists, I'm also honored to meet you for the very first time. The people of Kalangala send you greetings.
Thank you very much for making time to be with us. And you've come at a time when we had gone through some of the reasons why Parliament is actually being taken across the region. Sittings will start in Gulu on the 28th. They'll be there for 3 times, 29th and the 30th, 3 days in a row. And you as the opposition seem to have a completely different thinking or idea about this entire plan. And we know very well, Parliamentary Commission does sit. You are part and parcel of a Parliamentary Commission that plans some of these things. But very many people are disturbed that at this particular moment you're coming out to say that you're not going to be part of this exercise. What exactly is going on? Why are you opposed to this plan?
Yeah, thank you, Anderson. It is very unfortunate that we are supposed to be part of the Parliamentary Commission as the opposition, and we're represented by the leader of opposition. We're also represented by our commissioner. But it's very unfortunate that the leader of opposition, ever since he went to that office, he has never attended any of those. He has never attended any of those meetings. So what would you imagine?
Well, he's always at Parliament.
Being at Parliament is different from being invited to a meeting where you're supposed to be by law. He's supposed to attend these meetings. The very first time he asked for a reason as to why he was not invited, the Speaker said, we are not going to sit until July. That was, I think, around February. February, he asked for a reason, and he got a response. I know this because I saw the letter. And the Speaker said, no, we are going to sit in July. There's no money and there's no business, so we are going to sit in July. So he said, no, but how? How does the Commission not sit? It is a body that governs Parliament. And that is the response he got. Unfortunately, they were sitting behind his back. They were having meetings behind his back. I don't know the reason, because I don't know why they did so. That is the very unfortunate bit, that we were not represented very well on that commission. And whatever has been, I think, discussed about, we don't know.
So what are you doing in the House if you can't even play your role on the Commission?
You see, it is really unfortunate. It is such a sad question that I have no answer to. I may say we are there to legislate and do all these other things, but when it comes to the Commission work, we are not that much represented. Now, we only get communication, okay?
From the Commission? Decisions made by the Commission?
We see the Speaker has now been meeting people from that sub-region, making preparations, logistics and all that, and we get from members on the Budget Committee telling us, you see, the direct budget is 3.6 billion, the direct, and of course there's that indirect. You will sum it up and you go to maybe 4 billion, 4.5. It is going to be spent for this sitting, just this sitting alone in Gulu. And for me, I think that is wasteful expenditure, if you asked me. Members of Parliament are going to be paid per diem of 400,000 per day. But you know that a member of Parliament is paid monthly. We get salary and we get emoluments. There is no day I have now spent 3 years in Parliament. There is no day I have gone for plenary, like I have gone today and I'm paid. For example, a sitting allowance, that very day, I sign and I get it. This money is going to be sent to our accounts for us to go and attend, because, you have to sleep in a hotel, per diem. When you're in here, it is 400,000. This is quite a lot of money. This country is clamoring for change. It's clamoring for service delivery. And we are not getting this. There is no medicine in the hospitals, in the health centers. Some actually, a place where I come from, like Kalangala, we would need a bridge, a bridge from Masaka, connecting Masaka to Kalangala, for a people-centered parliament. It does not mean you go and sit with the people. It means you sit somewhere designated for you to sit and, deliberate on those issues affecting the people, come out with actions, let government act. Now it is upon us to fast-track what government has not done. If the government is not acting, it is upon us to remind government. We don't have to go sit in Gulu to remind government to put medicine in the hospital, Lacho Hospital. No, we don't. That is wasting a lot of taxpayers' money. This money would rather be taken to service delivery, okay? And this is what I think. in my opinion, that this money is simply a diversion. They're diverting this money from the committee oversight role. You know, a member of parliament is supposed to do, one of those roles is to, do oversight role. And this is done by committees. I sit on the Committee of Climate Change and the Committee of ICT. I was on the Committee of Agriculture, but by virtue of the fact that I am a shadow minister for anti-corruption information, I now sit on the Committee of ICT. We are supposed to go out there, and do oversight. Now, I must tell you, Anderson, that money has been diverted from committees and it has been taken now to these sittings. This is a diversion. They do not want MPs to go again to the field and find out all these dirty dealings they're doing. You remember the Lubowa saga? There's supposed to be a hospital now, 4 years? There is nothing to show. We went there, we were stopped. We peeped because I could peep and see inside. There was nothing like a construction going on. So I think they're diverting us from our cardinal role as members of parliament. We're supposed to legislate, oversight, budget appropriation and all that. But now this role they're taking away from us. I must tell you, committees do not have money to go to the field and do oversight. There is no money. We are thinking this money has now been diverted and taken to the sittings. Which sittings? What are we going to do in GLUE? Because it is not like somebody would say it would be nice for members of parliament to go to GLUE and interact with the people there. But let me tell you, when plenary is starting, the speaker will make a proclamation and she will say, this has been gazetted to be our parliament, our house. They will put security all over. People will not access it. Only a few that are invited will sit in the gallery, but they don't submit. They do not say anything. They simply listen.
Like they do here in Kampala.
And they are introduced, Chairman LC5, and we bang our tables. Chairman this and that, Councillor so and so. So they are not going to deliberate on anything. They are not going to submit. So what exactly are we going to do in GLUE? Somebody would say, the hotel where we are going to sleep, they are going to get money. It is 1, 2, 3 hotels. Have the people in the lowest village, have they benefited from us going to going to GLUE?
These hotels will buy from them food stuff that you are going to feast on. My
dear, for me, I do not believe it works for the people of Uganda. I don't.
All right.
We don't need to go to GLUE to sit and deliberate on issues affecting GLUE.
All right.
It is not like we are going to actually deliberate on issues affecting GLUE. It is a national thing. Let us sit in Kampala, save that money, and use it for something else. That is what I think.
But you know very well that in your plans as Parliament, there is what you've budgeted for under what you call taking Parliament to the people. This is part of it. It's an approved process.
For me,
Parliament
Anderson,
to the people.
taking Parliament to the people does not mean you get the members of 529, the members of staff, security men. You get the buses, you drive and go. That is not what it means. Taking Parliament to the people, take service deliveries to the people. It means act. It means the executive must play its role by not interfering with parliamentary work. Can we do our work? Can we allocate money, okay? Can we allocate money to the health sector? And it actually goes and does what it is supposed to do. That is, for me, I think, Parliament to the people and the committees. When they go out there to do their role of oversight, it is taking Parliament to the people.
All right.
Not lifting 529 members of Parliament to go somewhere and deliberate.
All right. Yeah. Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90, our topic of discussion today. We're asking a question. Is the opposition right to boycott sittings, regional sittings of Parliament as directed by Speaker of Parliament Anita Mong? We know sittings are going to start in GLUE on the 28th, 29th and the 30th. But after that, there will be also sittings in different parts of the country, and the idea is taking Parliament to the people, collecting the views directly from the people and the issues, and having them deliberated upon in Parliament. My guest this evening, Mr. Robert Okot, is a political analyst. Also in studio, the Honorable Helen Nachimuli, Shadow Minister in charge of Anti-Corruption and Information, but also Kalangala District Woman MP. Let's go for a break now. When we return, we'll hear from Okot, having had a response from the Honourable Member, but also we'll be asking her whether, as a Member of Parliament, she thinks that this House is actually doing the work that the people of Uganda expect him to do. Stay tuned to Radio 1 FM 90. We continue after this break. Well, thank you so much for staying with us on Spectrum, live on Radio 1 FM 90. Today we are looking at the decision by the opposition in Parliament to boycott regional sittings of Parliament. And I'm speaking to the Honourable Helen Nachimuli, Shadow Minister in charge of Anti-Corruption and Information. She's also the Kalangala District Woman MP. Also in studio, Mr. Robert Okot, a lawyer and political analyst. Well, Mr. Okot, earlier on, you did weigh in on some of these issues, but we have now clearly heard from Honourable Nachimuli some of the reasons why they think they should not be actually attending these meetings.
I actually want to partly disagree with Honourable Nachimuli. Because you see, if the motive that is being put out there in the media is actually followed, that you're taking Parliament to the people, it can actually have a good impact. Yeah? And that is if the regional leaders take it upon themselves to ensure that they do good lobbying for their region, to ensure that whatever is on the order paper for that sitting actually helps their region get up.
Do you have a feeling that actually through lobbying Parliament, certain things can be done in this country? Is that what you're saying? Parliament, you see Parliament as a very important institution that can actually ensure that certain things are done?
In my view, Parliament should be doing the most critical things in this country.
There's a should be, and
yes, should be,
will be,
should be looked at as the most powerful arm of government. If you are doing appropriation of resources, you are legislating for the country. Ideally, you should be able to have serious impact on your communities. As to whether that actually happens, that is something that
you tell me. This is your Parliament. You have an MP. You have an MP who represents you in Parliament.
Now,
have they been effective?
Of course, just like most states, other than the legislative arm or the executive arm or the judiciary or the judicial arm, there is always that unofficial state, what some people call the shadow state or the deep state. It makes a lot of decisions, not just in the developed world, but even in our part of the world. So, for me, I think Parliament can have impact. However, there is a lot more that also needs to be done, such that even that state that is not seen on paper, is in agreement with what is being put forward, for as long as it is for the people.
All right.
But again, in terms of the trickle-down effect, I actually believe that even the lowest of citizens in Gulu has the opportunity to benefit from this sitting. Because if 500 MPs sleep in those hotels are certainly employing people. Those hotels are buying food. Transport people will probably have some money on them. Even sex workers will have some money.
Oh.
That's a nice one.
That's an interesting one. What are you suggesting?
So, for me, what I think is that what we should be ensuring is that the motive that is being put out in the media is actually what happens in Gulu.
All right, let's hear from Honorable. Honorable, you sit in that house. Mr. Okot talks about the regions actually lobbying and having certain things actually addressed. but also talks about the trickle-down effect. Earlier on, I asked you whether you thought that there were benefits, and you completely disagreed that there are going to be only a few people, especially those who own the hotels, who are likely to benefit. When you sit in that house, do you feel that you're making impact on the lives of the people you represent? With all the power that you have, like Kokota said, you appropriate, you hold government to account, you make the laws.
I think when people elect somebody to that August House, and that person is actually legitimate, they can best represent them. They can, go and deliberate on issues affecting them, and they are worked on. That is if they are worked on. Now, my worry is, I'm going to divert a little. My worry is, we want to take this house to the northern region, to the western, to the eastern, and all that.
And probably to Kalangala.
Kalangala is in the central,
Yeah, I remember there was a parliamentary outreach during Speaker Kadaga's time.
Yeah.
They did come to Kalangala.
Yeah. Now, where my problem is exactly is you have taken these people to Gulu or to northern Uganda. Like I said before, he is talking about the results, which we don't know as yet. We do not want to speak in anticipation, okay? You
may not know the results until you're there.
Until you're there, yes, I know. But again, we also have to look at the cost-effective analysis. Is it cost-effective? Are we going to benefit as a country when we go to Gulu? Yes. He has said people are going to benefit, like the sex workers, transporters. No, Parliament is going to provide all the transport. All members of Parliament shall be transported there to and from where the Parliament will sit and to their hotels and all that. So transport, it is a no-go. Members of Parliament are going to be under tight security. You may not even be able to see them. You may not even be able to talk to them. Now, this is my worry. Members of the public elect their leaders. Gulu has leaders in Parliament. It has the woman member of Parliament. It has the constituency MPs. Kalangala has a woman member of Parliament. It has constituency MPs, and to mention but a few.
And this is the Greater North.
Exactly.
There are so many districts.
Now, the Greater North has very many districts that have representatives in the House, in the Parliament of Uganda. Do you want to tell me the people made a mistake to elect these leaders to come and represent their views on the floor of Parliament? Do you want to tell me it is useless for people to elect members of Parliament to come and represent them? Because if you say we are going to go there and benefit those people, it means we have not been benefiting them. It means we have not been working. It means Parliament has actually been for sure. This is what it means to me, in my opinion. So it does not make any difference if we go to Gulu and deliberate on issues that are going to, be on the order paper, assuming that actually, Anderson, you are not sure whether on the order paper issues of Gulu or northern region will surface, okay? So it does not make sense for us to go to northern Uganda, deliberate on issues of the entire country. We come back, and when maybe we appropriate all these, maybe a supplementary so for Gulu Road or something like that, and the money is chewed, it is eaten, it is stolen by the very people who say we should go and take our Parliament there. You get my point? So for me, at the end of the day, who benefits from this sitting? I have told you what is happening. Parliament has committees that are supposed to do oversight role. If money has been diverted and taken there, and the committees are no longer doing their work as meant to we only sit in Parliament to, so-called so-and-so, so we are not going to the field because there is no money. And this money has been diverted there. There is a reason. You would even think, you would maybe think, there is a certain accountability they are working on to, get to the accountability issue they want. So for me, I don't buy into this idea of people are going to benefit. Yes, people may benefit at a smallest percentage of like 2%. But we want to look at the entire nation. if I am a member of parliament from Kalangala and I want a bridge to connect from Kalangala to Masaka, and I want a bridge to connect from Bukasa to Mwena, I will have to bring that on the floor of parliament and talk to the relevant minister to, expedite the entire process. And we look at the budget. We do not have to go and sit in Kalangala to look at the road, to look at the lake and see the kilometers, the nautical miles to be able to construct a bridge. No, that is wastage of a lot of resources. I'm telling you, it is 3.6 direct, 3.6 billion.
That's the official figure known.
Yes, for the very first time, like I told you, I am hearing a member of parliament going to receive allowance to go and sit and deliberate on matters of national importance. For me, it is a turn off. That is why I say, actually, I have been, when you told me you were inviting me here, there are certain members of parliament I talked to, and they're NRM members of parliament. He said, you see, our hands are tied. This is a decision made by those guys, the second what, so we have to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't go, because it does not make sense. There will not be any change unless these guys are promising us heaven on earth. Unless they are promising this time things are going to happen, that we have, annually 10 trillion is being stolen. We lose it in corruption. There's a lot of corruption. It is a disease. It is a cancer in this country. So if they promise this country that whatever is going to happen in northern Uganda is going to benefit this country, trust me, it would be a good idea. But we have failed to act upon those issues that are affecting people sitting in Kampala, here in the center. What is going to happen when we go to the north? This 3.6 aside. Okay? So for me, I am not against my people or our people benefiting, but what I'm against is the wasteful expenditure. Let us sit in Kampala, first handle issues. Okay, we say on the order paper, we have northern Uganda, and that's it. On the order paper, we only have northern Uganda. We handle northern Uganda. Lacho Hospital has no scan. It has no this and that. We handle. It has no bridge. Gulu has no good roads. For example, I'm just giving an example. I don't, of course.
And the question I'll put to you,
yeah.
How different will that be from the issues the MPs from that region keep on putting across every day? I follow that house. I see those complaints about roads, about what, almost the same things happening in different parts of the country. So how different will that be?
No, if they say, okay, this is 3.6 billion, can't it work on the roads? Can't we have a scan in Kalangala Health Center for?
So instead of spending the money on the cities, they should take this money
into service delivery. Exactly.
All right, we have comments coming in from the listener. I'll begin with Benon Fred Twinamasko. Said the parliament is already out there to the people, with the proceedings being aired live on TV with a wider audience. Also, MPs are representatives of the people coming from those regions all over the country. So why have regional sittings? Okot.
Earlier on, I told you, Kenneth, that chances are that it's a PR job. Yeah. For those that are proposing that a sitting be taken to the regions, and even those that are opposing the idea of taking these sittings to the regions, they are all playing
public relations.
All right, because you see, the institution of parliament has been under serious scrutiny from the public.
That you said.
And it currently faces a reputational crisis. Yeah. So chances are that could have informed the idea of having regional sittings.
All right. Yeah. All right, we have comments coming in. Dear Spectrum, this parliament has failed to solve Kampala issues where it sits. Talk of traders, medical interns, poor allocation of funds, and poor infrastructure. They're just looking for ways of looting the country more. That's a comment from Raymond. Then another comment. Good evening, Spectrum. Thanks for the show. I am Drakumani. Concerning regional parliament, this parliament has already done more harm than good to citizens. Will these regional parliamentary sittings address the rampant corruption in the House? This is the worst, most corrupt, scandalous, and unpatriotic parliament. History will judge them. That's a Drakumani listening in from Arua. Honorable Nachimuli, how do you feel to be in a house that is being described like this by Drakumani. He says, you're the most corrupt, scandalous, unpatriotic, and history will judge you harshly.
You know, when you're campaigning, before becoming a member of parliament, I was a community development officer for my district in Kalangala for about 7.5 years. I looked at, I know exactly what is the problem of Kalangala because I have been there, I have been with the people, I have been there, and I know exactly what is happening. So I said, okay, we do not have enough voices. I should come in and represent my people. So my expectations while campaigning were different from what I found in Parliament. If you asked me, because I'm not trying to divert, but if you asked me, have your expectations been fulfilled? No, hell no, they haven't, because I thought something else, I am saying something different. I thought when I come to the floor of Parliament, I talk about my issues in Kalangala, they're going to be addressed because I think we have the money. I mean, we have borrowed here and there, and the money borrowed is being stolen. This is what I found. There's a lot of theft. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of I don't care. Everyone for himself and God for us all. For God and my stomach, that is what is happening. So, when somebody makes such a comment, I don't blame them. Because I too, I am disappointed. I thought there was something, apart from being an honorable member of parliament, somebody calling you honorable. Actually, my friends find me and they say, now, naturally, how do you feel?
They have not yet called you Owechitiwa.
I'm called honorable. Owechitiwa is not my title because Kabaka is the one who gives Owechitiwa that title. So they say, so how do you feel being an honorable? I feel no more because I thought being an honorable means you are going to do honorable things. Where you have gone, honorable things are being done. But a lot of different things I am seeing are happening. And when somebody makes such a comment, I don't blame them. I feel bad, but what to do? This is what is happening. The president of Uganda, Mr. Museveni, has made Parliament look demonic. He has demonized Parliament.
Oh, everything you like blaming that man.
Because he is the topmost. He's the fountain of honor, the executive. I'm telling you, the executive has usurped powers of the Parliament of Uganda. I will give you an example. One time, we had a motion on the floor of Parliament about ROCO. ROCO, you know ROCO? They wanted 300 billion Uganda shillings to bail them out. And the left-hand side of the speaker and the right-hand side of the speaker, that is the NRM and the opposition, were all saying, no, we don't want this money. We are not giving you this money. Where is the work you have done? When you look at Parliament, the construction that is going on a daily basis, I think they put a command somewhere to come and now knock. They knock a hammer somewhere, they pour some sand, and they say, now that day is gone. For, I think, 4 or 5 years, they are constructing. It is not yet done. But every year, there's a supplementary budget that comes. We need money, we need money. So we said, we are not giving ROCO any more money until they account for the money they have taken. But I am telling you, this came on the floor of Parliament. We all said no. That point where the speaker says, those in favor say aye, and the contrary, no. Everybody said no. We even did X, this X of no, we refused. We banged doors.
But the ayes had it.
He said, okay, the ayes have it. And we all made noise. We said, no, it can't happen because we didn't say the ayes have it. We said, nay. And, he jumped off the microphone without even adjourning the House because he too was ashamed, of what he just did. And members of Parliament just reminded, Mr. Speaker, you have not adjourned. Are we going to stay here until tomorrow? He ran back and adjourned. That was unfortunate.
Okay.
So it means there was a certain force because he has said, we are not discussing this. we shall discuss tomorrow when we have a full report from the minister and all that. So it means there was another hand, an invisible hand, that came in and said, I want this passed today and now. And he had to do it. So for me, I do not blame anybody who says we are a disappointment. It is unfortunate, but it is unfortunate that we are all in the same boat. Even when the opposition, who have the smallest voice, come out to say something, we are stopped, and that's all.
All right. Comments coming in on Godia Joseph in Kampala writes and says, this is another way of stealing taxpayers' money. There is rotation on National Day. How has it helped the people? Then somebody else writes and says, that's Kennedy who says, I think the speaker wants to see real confusion, and that's when he will understand Ugandans are not fools. Then another comment from Grace Commander who says, good evening, Kenneth. We are going to again gain nothing from that issue unless government gives everyone in Uganda $100. That's Grace Commander who is that comment. Then we have another comment from Pasi Mulamba. Listen to this. Never in the history of Uganda's parliament has never in the history of Uganda's parliament has there ever been sickening, stomach-churning, sickly, appalling, foul, odious, disgusting, vomitous, and horrid like this parliament. That is the scripture. At the time when the public image of parliament is at its lowest ebb, such expenditure to go and sit in Gulu is not called for at all. That's Pasi Mulamba there with that comment. Then we have another comment. That is a very wonderful thing. If it comes to Uganda, let Parliament sit in my disadvantaged area, Busuju, Nakaziba, Mityana district, to beef up roads, telecom network, electricity, security, etc. I support the idea, and we will easy Kampala traffic jam in that period. That's a comment from Henry Chiwenda. Then we have another one. Taking Parliament to the people. Each constituency across Uganda has a representative in Parliament. It's diversionary and a contradiction. Why don't they leave the MPs themselves to visit these areas, either as sub-regional caucuses or individually? I think Speaker Anita Mong is looking for another avenue to make more money and to use that as accountability. Otherwise, I don't see its usefulness. We have a comment, Georgie Niganga. Parliament sitting in Gulu, general sittings benefit the event organizer, tents and chairs. A very few hotel owners. It's a total waste of taxpayers' money and time. The biggest achievement of the regional sittings will be Honorable Anita Mong making history as the speaker who took Parliament to the region. How many issues of northern Uganda have been raised in Parliament and addressed? Does Gulu address it better? That's a comment there from that listener. We have another one very quickly. Hello, Spectrum. Todi, listen again from Gulu. Do we have any precedent where Parliament budget has been reallocated to service delivery? Here we are buying cancerant shirts to contribute for city scans and bankers at Insambia. Parliament should do more CSR to create some public confidence. Then he says, somebody writes and says, Anderson, thank you for the topic. The 11th Parliament will go down in the annals of history as the most disappointing, dishonorable, and incompetent since independence. That's a comment from Alan in Tungamo. Very quickly, Okot, your closing remarks as we get closer to the end of this show, and then we'll hear from the Honorable.
Thank you very much, Kenneth. I think Honorable Nachimuli raises serious issues of accountability. Yeah. However, I still reiterate my earlier position that if the motive that is being put out in the media is actually followed on, it could be a good thing. Yeah. As a member of Parliament, I know you keep receiving phone calls from your electorate, want school fees, want coffins, yeah, all those kinds of things. Yeah, I think if well planned, members of Parliament could have an opportunity to explain the function of Parliament. Yeah, as to whether that will happen, that is between them. But personally, I believe it could be a very good opportunity to take Parliament to the people if the motive is actually what happens.
All right, let's hear from Honorable Nachimuli. Your closing remarks as we come to the
end. I like how he says if. I don't know if you could remind me about the ifs. The 3 ifs. You know, he says it very well. If this and this happens, we are not certain. For Parliament to be demonized to this extent, and for the people to come out and, you mean for everyone to say, Parliament this, Parliament that, I want to thank one gentleman in this country, the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. That gentleman has opened our eyes. He has opened the eyes of the Ugandans. I don't want to speak about the other opposition leaders.
I would be surprised if you didn't say that.
I know, you know, I mean.
The principle.
Yeah, because, I mean, he said he's going to take the ghetto to Parliament if Parliament does not get to the ghetto. He didn't specifically mean for us to go to the people, but to take service delivery there. If you take service delivery there, you will be assured people are going to be happy and nobody will. And lastly, how sure are we of the MP's security along the way as they go to those regions?
All right, probably one of the reasons why you don't want to go to Gulu.
No, that is the last one.
All right, with that we come to the end of Spectrum. Let me thank you, my guests, for making time to be here, but also you, the listeners, for tuning in and also sharing with us. I've been your host, Kenneth Lukwag Anderson. Up next, we have the news in English with Ms. Josephine Dagano. Thereafter, we'll have the Soul Train with BB Jr.